enhancing Rotten Potatoes again. So what we did is document a feature that we already had. We wrote the test instead of behavior-driven development. It was behavior after the fact, which isn't the way you're supposed to do it. So let's see if I can pull this one on. This time we're going to try and do the movie database, TMDB, and we're going to try and get it, rather than we have to type all that stuff in, we want it to pre-populate the form. And so that's what feature we're going to add. So because it's a user-facing feature, we got to add a lo-fi UI and storyboard. Once again, this is pretty easy to do. We're going to just show both of them together. So here is the sketch of the Rotten Potatoes page, and this is the functionality we had before of add a new movie. So we've added this text, add from TMDB, and then there's a little box that you can type in the title of the movie you want to write, and you click the search button. So two things can happen here. Either you match the search, and then you go to this page, and hopefully the thing that you titled, what you put into that form, it'll be populated, right? It'll have the title and the rating and a description. And then we put buttons to say, yeah, I want to add that movie to my list or cancel it. Now, in reality, probably what we would have is a lot of choices. For this name, if we were doing that for real, we would have another page that would have a list of all the movies that match, and then you'd pick one. But to keep it simpler, we're just going to skip that and assume there's a single thing that matches that title. We populate it, you add it. If there was no match, you would get this flash message that said, sorry, no match for the thing you put in, and it would basically be going back to this page with this flash on it, and if you typed anything, it would look like that. So that's the storyboard, that's the user interface, and as you can imagine, that took me just a couple of minutes to highlight, but that captures what we want to do. Before we show Cucumber in action, let's go through a few slides to show what's going to happen. We start with this sad path scenario that corresponds to figure 4.6. The first step will pass, but we're going to have problems with the second and third step. The second step, we just don't have this text on the view. And the third step, we want to be able to type into the terms, but we haven't added a form field to that view either. So the first thing we're going to do is add this text to the index.html.haml page. This first line will let us pass the search.tmdb text on the second step. And these following lines will expand to be able to handle the text to be able to add the form field, which we can see on this slide, which explains what that Haml code does. We'll then try to run Cucumber, but it's going to fail because this search TMD method hasn't been implemented yet. What we should do is implement it using TDD methods, but we haven't got to that yet. So what we're going to do instead, to let us finish the sad path, is fake the controller to always fail. To do that, we're going to add this fake method that will always fail into the controller code, moviescontroller.rb, and then to invoke it, we're going to add this to routes.rb so that when the form is posted, it will invoke this fake method. So now we're ready to see Cucumber go through all these steps. When we add a new feature like searching for TMDB, you usually need a new user interface and thus need to update the view. We usually need to write new step definitions and perhaps even write a new method. So let's start with the sad path that's shown here on the screen and see what Cucumber does when we try and run it. Now we're waiting for Cucumber. Let's look at the scenario here, and the first step should pass since it says it's on the Rotten Potatoes homepage. That shouldn't be any kind of problem. But the second thing should not work because it's trying to search TMDB and we haven't set up the view to be able to do that. Let's see what happens here. Oh, here we go. Move it over a little bit. Now the first one passed, you saw, but it's slammed by here. But the rest failed as expected. So it says in the book, we now have to fix that view. Here's the thing that will fix the index exact Hamel code. We just append this to the end of it. So let's copy it. Okay, so it's copied it. Let's go over to the index that Hamel page that you can see right there. We'll paste it to the end. All right, that looks like the same code. Yep, looks like the right code. So let's save it. Now let's go back and try this code again. So now we're going to have the view set, but it's still going to try and invoke this search TMD method that we need to implement, which we haven't implemented. So this can't pass. It's going to fail again. But well, we'll have to wait for it to think to see if it is or not. Okay, it's giving it a try. And it failed because the search TMD doesn't happen. Now what we should really do is now use the test-driven development, which will come in the next chapter, and implement that method. But what we're going to do instead for this chapter is trick the controller to always fail when it searches a movie so this SAD path can pass. The way we're going to do that is modify the controller's method. We're going to add this text, which will always fail. Okay, we copied it. Let's go to moviescontroller.rb. You can put it anywhere, so this will do. We'll save it. Now we also need to set up the route. Again, we just push that in the routes.rb file right after the resources. Yep, that's the post. That's what we wanted to add right there. So let's save that. And we'll go back and try Cucumber again. This time we've got the view set up. We've tricked the controller to always fail, and we've set up a route. So this should make it possible for the SAD path to pass. Now what we'll do in the next chapter is we'll go ahead and implement that method and show you how Cucumber works with the testing tool in the TDD chapter called RSpec. Here we go, and sure enough, all the steps path this SAD path. This is as far as we can go for now, but you've seen Cucumber in action, adding a new feature, in this case the SAD path. More later.
Now it turns out the happy path won't really work because we don't have that search method. So if we would get a little bit further, we'd do that. Now what's interesting is on the happy path and the sad path is that there are some common steps that are there, and it turns out there's a way to dry out those steps, which is called background. That's a new feature that I hadn't talked about. So here we are with the this is the SAD, this is the feature that we talked before. Here's the little setup. Here's the SAD path scenario. Here's the happy path scenario. And if we wrote them separately, we would have seen that these steps are common to both of them. So it turns out to save writing, there's a thing called background, and the background lets you have them, the background will be run before all the scenarios. So no matter which scenario you would do, you would first run these steps in the background and then you do the scenario, and that's a way to dry out the code again. So that's one more thing you might see. So that's as far as we're going to be able to get with this example until Armando shows you how to implement the method with TDD. Okay, so summarizing, new feature, you typically need a user interface for it. You write the step definitions, write new methods. You usually do the happy paths first. Backgrounds let us dry out that code. And Cucumber BDD is testing behavior, TDD and RSpec is how we're going to implement the methods to make it all pass.